Hi everyone, it's Justine here from House of Mahalo. Thanks so much for joining me. So today I'm using up 6x6 papers. I'm sure we've all got them. If you haven't, then of course you can cut down a 12x12, or these ideas will work with large scraps of your cardstock, or your paper pads, or your digitals, you know, whatever it is that you're using. But essentially my mission was clear. Use up those pesky 6x6s that I had stacks of. So I've got a whole bunch of ideas, and today's video is just simply going through those ideas to hopefully give you ideas. And we're not going to decorate anything, we're just going to simply run through the ideas. Okay, so starting with number one. So the original inspiration for this comes from Gail Agostinelli. So I was trying out Gail's slanted pocket with doily decoration idea. So essentially this is just a 6x6 cut into two, and then you just chop off a little bit of the side to give you, because you know it's very rare you're going to have a 6-inch wide page, so you want this width to be more like 4.5, 5 at a push, you know, you want it that sort of size. So that is essentially all that is, and you stick a doily, you know, folded over to give you this decoration, and of course from there you can decorate them up further. But that was what Gail's idea was. Now I accidentally cut too many sheets, and then I ended up doing this, and I thought, that's the starts of a pocket, isn't it? So what we've got here is essentially two of those stuck together like this, so it gives you almost like a collar effect. And we've got a pocket in the front here, and then of course the whole thing can be stuck on the page as a pocket. And if you really wanted to, you could add an extra piece down here, maybe from your own scrapbook paper scraps, to give you another pocket. I've done something similar with book pages. I do have a video, but this is the scrapbook paper version. So for this one, you just want one 6x6. I have two the same, so I'm just going to cut them together to keep things easy. And all you want to do is cut corner to corner first of all. So pop it in like so. So we're just cutting corner to corner. Like so. So then what you've got is two triangles. Like so, just cut like that. And then we want to join them together. Now these are a little bit too wide, you know, if I join them together like this, that is going to be, you know, quite a wide pocket. So we're going to cut some off. So we're going to turn them this way, so face to face, and we're just going to cut along this side, and we want the pocket to be more like, we'll go with 5 inches. I think that's fair. So we're going to go with 5. Okay, keep those strips because we might be able to use them later. So now you have, if we join them together like so, now you've got 5 inches across. If I just double check my measurements. Yep, 5 inches roughly. And you can just join those pieces together if you want. Now I'm going to chop a little bit off from my corners just here, not for any reason other than mine have a bit of a dog-eared edge down there. So I'm just going to snip that little bit off. That's that one. You don't have to do this part, it's just, yeah, mine are a little bit dog-eared. They've been in my stash a while. Okay, so now if we join them together, like so, we've got that. Now, if you don't like the pointy edge at the top, some people do, some people don't, you can simply snip that off. I'm going to join mine together first though. Okay, so we want to put some glue along the bottom of our back triangle, just to form the pocket. Okay, and then we want a little bit of glue on the front triangle just to seal off a little bit. So I think if we just do that little edge down there, that should be enough. Okay, and we're just going to join those together. Glue seepage, the usual. And then if you do have any bits overhanging that you don't like, you can just trim those off. So I've got a little bit there where my triangles don't quite match. That's okay. And I believe that's all we need to do at this point. So as I say, we've got the pocket in the front, and then the whole thing is going to be a pocket. So when you glue it onto your journal page, you just want to glue like so. Okay, and that will give you the pocket in the back. As I say, if you don't like those pointy ears, as some people call them, you can just trim those off. So if we come along here, we can just give it a more, you know, natural kind of look, I suppose. And that is as simple as it gets. So that was the, well, technically the first and second ideas. So we've got the doily pocket and the, I'm calling it a collar pocket, but I don't know if that's the technical term. Okay. The next idea was something I saw on Gail Augustinelli's channel again. And what we've got here is we've got a slanty pocket. So this will be the pocket on the page. And you've also got this little side tuck piece. Very, very simple. So we want to start with 6-inch. Now again, you're very rarely going to have a page that's that wide. So I'm going to chop mine down to 5 inches. And again, I'm keeping my offcuts. I'm sure we can use them. Okay. And then you just want to, I'm actually just going to straighten the bottom edge of this one as well. This wasn't technically a 6x6. This was just a scrap from my 12x12, but it's similar sort of size. Okay, and then for this one, you want a double-sided paper, because when you fold your corner over, you will get, you know, you'll be able to see that. So choose something that you like. So when you fold it over, what are you going to see? And you just want to fold over a corner, like so, and leave yourself enough room where if you had something sticking out of here, say you had a tab sticking out or a bit of a journal card sticking out, there's enough room here to, you know, protect the card, whatever is going to be in that little side pocket that you've got. Okay, this one I'm just going to ink very quickly, because, you know, just before I glue it down. Okay, and for this one, we're just going to add glue to this edge of our triangle, just that one edge, the side edge. Just a little bit of glue, so that when you fold that down, that is now the bottom of your pocket glued, your extra pocket. And of course, you might want to give things a little bit of a burnish, like so. And then very simply, you've got side tuck and the whole thing is a pocket. Okay, moving on to the next idea. This was something that was kind of inspired by Tanya from Tatty Treasure. I believe that's where I first saw torn pockets. So these are going to use 2 6x6s, and you'll get 2 double pockets from it. Okay, so you've got a pocket here, and then the whole thing is a pocket. And these have a really cool torn look, so great for vintage journals or, you know, botanical, rustic type journals, I would say. Okay, for this we don't need the cutter. So we're going to simply take our first 6x6 and we're going to tear it corner to corner. So whichever corner you want to go with. So let's go with this. And then if your tearing is a little bit wonky, you can just tighten things up a little bit, tidy things up. And then here I've just got a little bit there, so I'm just going to tear this slightly here, and that will also stop it from being 6 inches wide as well. So we've got that. And then you want your coordinating paper to be your next pocket. So decide, is this pocket going to be your front or your back? For me, I think I want it to be the front. So I'm just going to tear the back piece, and we want it to be a little bit bigger than this one. So I'm still tearing it near the corner, but I'm just coming in a little bit, just to give that a little bit more space. If you don't tear it like that, that's fine. I'm sure mine probably isn't perfect. There are ways to work around it, which I'll probably end up showing you. So that's my back piece and that's my front piece. If I glue them together, really you can't see the back at all. This is what I mean by if you tear it slightly wrong, it doesn't matter. So what we want to do is move the first triangle down just a bit so that you can see the border that you want to see, however thick you want it to be. And then you'll see this. We just want to neaten that up so it's not so, you know, pocket just finishes weirdly because it looks strange. So from here, we just want to simply tear off that bit that you can see, and then from there just, you know, tidy things up. And sometimes you might have to tear a few times until you're happy. That's fine. It's all part of the fun. I really like torn pockets. So now if I join the triangles together a little bit lower down, you see this nice border. So we like that. All right, so I'm just going to just run a little bit of ink along this edge. Okay, and then we want to join these triangles together. So from here, I'm just going to run some glue along the back triangle, as high as this pocket will go. And then we're also going to run some glue along this panel, the bottom there, just to join the triangles together. So if I aim for there, like so, just glue them up. So these are some really, you know, fun ideas that you can just get done in, you know, an hour. I will probably have a whole bunch of different pockets completed in that time. Okay, so as again, we have nice big pocket in the front and the pocket in the back when you actually glue it onto your page. So you'll just glue the two sides. So you've got that. And from here, I mean, you don't really need to decorate this one very much at all. Maybe add a little bit of a something down here, but you know, it looks really decorative on the page. Now, I would like a pocket going the other way. So we want it more like this. Now, because this first piece is directional, I may have to have that be the back triangle instead. Okay, so from here, I've got quite a bit of a white border. So I just want to tear that down a bit, just neaten that up. And if you tear it backwards, you lose a little bit of control, but it does get rid of that white edge. Can you see compared to that where I was tearing forwards and there where I was tearing back? So I'll just neaten that up as well. And of course, you know, some people don't mind that edge. You can just ink it up if you prefer. I'm not a fan of like huge amounts of ink myself in my projects, so I prefer to just get rid of that. And same again, I'm just going to tear this one backwards and also make it a little bit smaller because this is going to be my front pocket now. Okay. And now I just want to place them together where I want them. So I think there is good. And then as I say, we've got that little bit of wonky edge there. So I just want to come in and just tear that down a bit so you can't really see that anymore. Like so. There you go. And then I just want to neaten that up as well because I had a little bit of a pointy edge. There we go. Okay, right, let's just run some ink along here. And once again, see where your first triangle is going to go, and then you're going to run some glue along the back triangle, like so, and then along the bottom. So you see there from 2 6x6s, we've made 2 pockets, and each of those have 2 pockets. And as I say, these are great for the single-sided papers because, of course, or the papers where you don't like the back, because from there, you know, you don't see them once they're glued down onto the page. And then if, you know, that looks maybe a little bit weird, we can just come in and just tidy that up at the front as well. So I think that looks a little bit better. And that's the fun thing about tearing, is you can just tear and tear and tear until you're happy. All right, that's that one. So this next idea is something that is inspired by Junie Desiree. I'm sorry if that's not how it's pronounced, but I will link all of these channels down below. And I think she was calling these Peekaboo Pockets. So all it is your 6x6 torn down slightly, stuck onto some vellum or acetate or something see-through, and we're going to have this as a pocket. So whatever you put behind it, you would see. So pretend this is much smaller. It peekaboo, and you can sort of see through that little bit. And you know, these, I've just got them glued onto the vellum, but you could sew around this if you want to. Yeah, if you prefer. So yeah, very simply, this is what we're going to do. And this also works for your larger scrapbook paper scraps. So for these, again, because they're pockets on a page, we don't want them to be 6 inches across. So you want to cut down your 6 inches to 4.5, maybe 5, something like that. So these ones I've already got cut down. These are just some of my scraps, but I thought these would be good uses for this project. And all it is we're going to take the first scrap, or 6x6, and we're just going to tear it in half. Like that. That's all it is. And this one, I've got a little bit of a wonky edge, so I just want to neaten that up. And you just tear it like we did in the torn pockets just now. You tear it until you're happy. Okay? Now this, again, I've got the white edge, so I just want to tear this one down a little bit more, just to get rid of that. You could always just ink it up. How simple is that? Of course, we need to glue it onto the vellum. So take your first piece, and we're just going to glue it all the way down onto that vellum. Now, for those of you who've used vellum before, you'll know that the vellum likes to curl up when you glue things onto it. From what I understand, you can, sewing around it helps with that, but also putting it under something heavy for a little while can also help. And also, of course, once you actually glue it down onto the page, it will be more secure anyway. It also doesn't have to be a pocket. This could be just an embellishment onto an envelope or something. Now from here, this is where you can make your 6 inches tall paper be much bigger, because we've got that gap in the middle. So how tall do you want your pocket to be? Do you want it to be, you know, tiny peekaboo, and so you've got a much not as tall pocket? Or do you want it to be much bigger peekaboo? Sorry, I love saying that. And have a much taller piece, you know, take up the full amount. So say I go with this. This would be just over 8 inches tall, which should be just fine, but I don't like the massive peekaboo. So I'm going to cozy mine up a little bit, and that's probably about, I don't know, 7.5 inches maybe. So again, we want to just glue that second piece down. About where you want it. And you'll notice I'm going up to this side of the vellum as best I can with my pieces, so that I only have to cut around it once, or on 2 sides. So we can come in with our scissors or trimmer and just cut off that excess vellum. And there you have it, a peekaboo pocket embellishment thing. Alright, the next one is kind of inspired by something I've seen Kaj Crafts do, that's Caroline. In her Tag Tuesday event, she had some pocket tags, and this is essentially what this idea is pocket tags, or tag pockets, whatever you want to call it. So for this, we're going to want, now this, it depends on whether your paper is single-sided or double-sided. So what it is your 6x6. If you like the back of your paper, then you can simply turn up the bottom and have that be the pocket. Now this, my bird is upside down, so I would just cover that up with an embellishment, but the rest of the flowers looks really nice. These two, well, that would be part of my pocket, which I don't want, and this one is white. So for that, we're going to want our scraps. And hey, guess what? From cutting down the pockets earlier, you already have scraps just sitting there. So use these if you can. Okay, so what we want is a 6x6. This is going to be our tag. And we're going to simply cut this one in half at 3 inches. Half-ish. And then we want our pocket, so your offcuts. This is just one I had earlier. And again, we want 3 inches wide. So that is going to be our pockets. Cool. I'm just going to quickly ink those just along the top there, because I can't do it once it's glued down. And I bet you guessed it, as simple as we're just going to run our glue along three sides, like so. To create our pocket. I hope you're enjoying seeing all these ideas in one video, by the way. I felt like because on their own they weren't anything particularly special, like everything was a nice idea and a good idea, but I didn't think they were worthy of, you know, one video just for that one idea. So I thought I'm just gonna stick them all together, and that way we can, well, get a load of 6x6s used up then and there. Okay, and then we want to create our tag shape. So I've just got a template here that I like to use. I am cutting them both together because mass make style. And then just flip that over and then cut the other side. And that is as simple as it gets. You've got your tag pocket. Of course, on the back here, I will probably cover that up because that is not a tag. I can't write on it. So I would cover that with a writing spot, and then you would have your tag in the front and then your writing spot on the back. And of course, from there, you can decorate and add tag toppers and, you know, do what you're going to do with them. But that is essentially the base ready to go. Just as a slight variation on that, if you don't like the tag shape, you can simply do the same thing round the corners instead of creating the tag shape, and then from there you still have a pocket. It's just I think they're called library pockets is what this one is. So that's that. Simple, right? Okay, next idea. This is inspired by Rachel from Roxy's Creations. This is something that I was doing in her Roxy's Weekly Challenge recently. So I'm just going to grab this. So pretend this is my journal page. And I think she was calling these flip floating hinge pockets. It was a bit of a mouthful, I remember thinking that. But essentially what it is it glues onto your edge of your page. So from this side we would glue it on 3 sides to give you a side tuck. And then when you turn your page on the other side, you get this flip out, like so. And then inside there, you've got your tag, which I actually made from a 6x6 as well. So that's what that is. Of course, you're welcome to do more with this. You know, you might want to put another pocket on there or something, you know, to decorate it up or add more pockets. You're more than welcome to. So let me just get that in. I think my tag was a little bit snug in that pocket, but no matter. Okay, so for this you want 2 6x6s, and we can use the single-sided ones for this. So first things first, you want to fold over about an inch and a half to give you your side tuck. So that's that one. So this is going to be the actual flip out pocket piece. And I'm not using the scoreboard, not necessary for this kind of thing, it's just, you know, we're just folding our hinge. And then open that back out, and then you want to fold your other piece, and we're going to go up to that where you've got the crease line. We're going to go up to that. We're going to leave something like a 1/16 of an inch, like a millimetre, just to give our pocket a little bit of clearance. Okay, so that is what that looks like. Just double check things are straight-ish, that's fine. And then we're going to want to put in just a thumb notch for your pocket, so on that side. And we're going to want to round the corners of our side tuck piece or hinge. I only do this because I think it looks a bit more finished, a bit softer on the page. Okay, so that's that. And then we're just going to want to glue up our pocket. So we're going to go along the bottom and along the edge. And as I say, this is great for those single-sided papers because you never see, you know, once it's all glued down on the page and folded up and everything, you don't see the inside of it, apart from that little divot at the top, which you could ink or cover up if you want to. And again, we might want to give this a little bit of a burnish down. And then with your other 6x6, this is where you can create your tags. So I've got this one, again it's single-sided, so for me that works for a tag. And I believe I was cutting them at 2 1/4. Let me just make sure I haven't forgotten my measurements. Just shy, just under 2 1/4. So there's 2, there's 1/4, and just a little bit less. Because where we've glued the pocket, we just want that to be, you know, have a little bit more clearance for our tag. And again, keep that, we can use that later. So let's just check that fits. Should be fine. Yeah, perfect. And that is your tag as well, which uses the other 6x6. Because we've glued the bottom, you also want to take just a little bit off of the top or bottom of your tag, so just a smidgen, like so. And then you can add your tab or tag topper, something like that, just to help you to pull that out, and if you want to. If not, the thumb notch works just fine as well. And that's that piece. Really simple, and uses up 2 6x6s. And of course you end up with the offcuts, which you can either make more tags from or turn into pockets. And then the final idea I've got to show for you today is really simple side loading pockets. So we've got a pocket here, and then the whole thing can be glued down onto the page as a pocket if you want to, or you know, you could have that side open. So this uses up the 1 6x6, and you can again use your single-sided papers because you don't see the inside. So again, we want to just simply fold this over, and we're going to leave a bit of a border. That's just for, you know, so we've got room for our pocket or whatever is going to go in the pocket. So we're going to do that, and then whilst I'm here, I'm just going to fold this one. And then I'm going to have that one go that way. So that's that. If you're using single-sided papers, you might want to cover that up. So we can do that with washi or strips of paper. You know, you could use some of the offcuts that you had left over, so I'm just going to see if any of these might work for me. Maybe they will. I'm just going to go with the tape option for mine. So I'm going to use this really nice brown and gold autumnal tape. So just want to run that along the edge just to cover up that white, or if you don't like the back of the paper as well. So excuse me as I lean forward, I just want to see, make sure I can see where the edge of my paper is. And then we just want to snip off the excess. And then from here, I'm going to round these corners, just because again, I like the look, but you don't have to, like so. And again, I just want to run some ink along this edge, just because I won't be able to do that once it's glued. And then you can glue the top and the bottom. To give you that side loading pocket. And if you want to, you could round these corners as well, these front corners. It's up to you what kind of look you like. I've done it both ways myself. I like it both ways. So the option is yours. And again, this time I'm just going to use this tape because it's just, you know, plain brown. Because I imagine this one will go into my botanicals. I've gone a little bit over that, but it doesn't matter. I can just trim that off on the trimmer after. It's just where I can't lean forward into the camera, so I'll be in the way, blocking everything. Okay, and then again, we're going to round. Actually, I will just cut that off quickly now, otherwise it's going to get in the way of my corner rounder. Okay, so we're going to round the corners of the taped edge, like so, and then we're going to glue, ink and glue, the front piece. So just those two sides there. And I hope that you'll see from doing these ideas, you can make a whole load of bases, so mass make style, make up your bases, use those 6x6s up, and then from there you're free to decorate, use them in whatever projects you want to use them in, but at least it gets them off of your stash. And that was the last idea. So I'm just going to tidy up my desk a bit, and then I'll bring them all in so you can have a bit of a recap as to what I've shown you. Okay, so here are the ideas again. So we started with Gail Gostinelli's corner pockets with the doily decoration. I didn't do them on video because it really is just simply cut, add doily. So that's those. That, as we know, sparked my little idea, which I'm sure people have done. I'm calling it the collar pocket, but again, I don't know if that's the technical term, and again, I'm sure these have been done. So here we've got the front sort of tuck, and then the whole thing, this whole piece, will be a pocket on the page. So that uses your single-sided 6x6s. We've got this idea, which I saw on Gail Augustinelli's channel, which is you've got your large pocket and then your super secret, not so secret side tuck. That uses your double-sided 6x6 because of course you see that piece folded over. Sort of inspired by Tanya from Tatty Treasure. That's where I first saw torn pockets. We have these. Again, we have a double pocket, so one here and then the whole thing. And this is again good for your single-sided papers, but 2 6x6s will make you 2 double pockets. And then of course you can, you know, change up, you know, which way round are you going to have them. That could even be a top tuck, double top tuck if you wanted to. So that's those. Junie Desiree brought us the Peekaboo Pockets. So here we've got single-sided 6x6 and the vellum Peekaboo. Now from here you might want to round the corners to give it a softer look on your page. It really depends on, you know, where they're going to go, but you might want to do that as well. But these will essentially be pockets, or they can be, yeah, I mean really I'm thinking pocket, because, you know, if this was glued onto your page you could then see what was coming in and out of the pocket. Or I might have this as an embellishment on an envelope, but I would still probably glue it down as a pocket. But I really, really like these. I think they're really fun. So that's that one. We've got our tag pockets, sort of inspired by Kaj Crafts, Caroline from Kaj Crafts. And of course, you know, you've got the offcut from earlier that we used as the pocket in the front. We've got the Roxy's Creations flip out piece. So again, I need a faux journal page. There we go. So we would glue this to give you that side pocket, and then on the other side of the page you've got your pocket and you've got your tag using another 6x6. So that's that one. And then super simple to round things off, not really inspired by anyone but just something that we make, which is the side loading pocket, where you've got this and then the whole thing can be you know, a pocket as well, so 2 pockets in one. And again, good for your single-sided, because as you saw there, I just used tape to, you know, cover up the white or what I didn't want to see. So that is those. So I have got scraps. Oh, but of course I have. But you know, these can be used on some of these pieces. So if we bring some of them out, I don't know, because I used such random things, I don't know myself if any of these will go, but we might want to. So I might actually use that on there to give me a third pocket. Why not, she says. So I'm just making a mark as to where I want to cut that down. And again, this one. Really, I'm doing this just to add in some extra ideas for you, and also just to remind you, you know, you don't have to throw out these scraps and just finding one that fits well. You know, don't throw them out. These things can always be extra tucks and things, can't they? So I think we'll go about there. Hope that's straight. And that one is, I'll go from this side instead actually. About there. Okay, yeah, it's straight enough, isn't it? So if I just ink the top edges. And also I'm doing this to make sure that I don't build up a pile of scraps again. I did promise myself I'm going to use them as I make them, as best I can anyway. Oop. Always go wobbly. So yeah, we're just going to glue this on 3 sides. Just to give us that extra pocket. If you want to, obviously this will add extra bulk, especially if you're using thick cardstock. But the option is there, isn't it? That's that one and this one. You could add a thumb notch to these if you wanted to. I personally don't want to, because I don't want to, you know, take away from the collar kind of look. Maybe we should call these tuxedo pockets instead actually, because I'm thinking this is now your cummerbund. Is that what they're called? Piece that goes across your midriff, men's midriffs. So yeah, we've just added another pocket. So, you know, we've got still our pocket there, still the one in the back, and then now we've got this extra pocket in the front, she says, if I glued the right edge. Okay, so that's that. Can I use up anything else? I probably could. I mean, you know, these things can be belly bands on top of your side loading pockets if you wanted them to. You know, we could have that as a belly band, maybe. What else could we do? As I say, we could add, you know, use the offcuts for your tag pockets. There's all different things that we can do to add more. I'm grabbing this one and thinking, you know, if I wanted to, I could add a little tuck spot down here. I might do that in that and then decorate it up. Yeah, why not? Let's do it. I'm refusing, as best I can, to put these scraps back into my scrap box. Is the simple answer. Again, just ink that. So anyway, I will probably end the video there. I realise I went into a little bit of a tangent at the end, but I just wanted to include that because, you know, it's helpful to see how these ideas can be added to and changed up and all the rest of it with the help of your scraps and the little offcuts and the different things that you can add. So there we go. Now on that one, just as a little reminder, we've got a pocket, a side pocket, oops, and a bottom pocket. I still have scraps, but that's okay. I've only got a few left. If I had used coordinating papers, these probably would have gone better with the papers that I've actually made things from. But that's okay, you know, these will get used in something else. Anyway, that's the ideas. I hope that you've enjoyed that little mass make session. As I say, really this was just my way of getting mine used up to a hilt, whilst also sharing the ideas of essentially in what is, I hope, is about a 45-minute video, thereabouts. We've got a whole array of, yeah, essentially sit down for an hour and you'll have a whole massive hoard of different pocket ideas, all from 6x6s or 12x12s cut down, or simply large scraps from your 12x12s or 8x8s. You know, these things can all be scaled up and down as you need to. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Thanks so much for scrap busting with me, and I hope to see you on the next video. Bye bye for now.